Hey y'all, welcome back to Dots and Beyond. My name is Beth, and I have a little bit of a treat for you today. For those of you who've been around for a long time, you'll remember that in December of 2020, I gave my son a custom bullet journal for Christmas, and that is this Fox journal here, and we're going to peek at this just really quickly. I had based it off of his fandoms. You can certainly go and watch this video right up here, or it's also linked in the description box below if you want to see how that full journal turned out. We are going to peek at just a couple of the months that were my favorites. April here with Phantom of the Opera theme, and then August with a Labyrinth theme. And he has continued bullet journaling to an extent, and so this is his bullet journal for 2022. And I started setting this one up on camera, but as most of you know, my work life got way out of control. And so there are two videos that you can go watch for his annual setup, which was this sort of galaxy theme, and his January setup, which was, if I can get to it, this coffee mermaid theme that we did for him. But the little bit of a surprise that we have for you today is that I am going to let my son, and his name is Kenny, take over and give you a flip through of this journal from January through to the beginning setup that we've started for September, so that you can see what his journal is looking like, and then maybe we can get back to setting them up on camera. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the hands over to Kenny.
Hi guys, it is Kenny, as my wonderful mother, Beth, the owner of Dots and Beyond, has so graciously introduced me. This is something that is new for me, but I figured this is something that I wanted to do for you guys. Kind of walk you through my journal as it is so far, kind of talk about what's working for me, what's not, because there's been some changes going on through the year. But yeah, without further ado, let's get through it. So we'll start with January, where we did have the mermaid coffee theme. As I think she mentioned, this setup is available as a video that I'm sure she will link either up above or in the description below. We had done a coffee theme before, but I wanted to do something new. So as you can see, this shifts tracker for my job. I am a barista at a Starbucks. I recently, this past year in fact, became a shift lead. I haven't been using this spread. You'll see it pop up in a couple of the months ahead, and I didn't use them as, well, really at all. I wanted to, but there was something about it that just wasn't clicking, so. We do have my wonderful weeklies that she always so graciously sets up for me. Now, the review page, there were a couple things about the review pages that I liked and a couple things that I didn't. I didn't like this up here, goal progress, because there are certain things that I wanted to maybe keep track of, which I have up here at the front of my yearly, but I didn't like the rating system. It felt very almost negative reinforcement if I didn't do as well on something that I wanted to for that month. And then I did like this at the beginning of things. It was one of those things that also kind of dropped off as the year goes on. Now, my February setup. So this character is a character that I love very much. His name is Zenyatta. He is from the video game Overwatch, and his entire thing is self-love, the love of all things and all creatures. And so she continued the planets and kind of astrology symbology through this as well. His colors are typically this red, orange, and yellow, and then also the two weapons that he is known for having are purple and gold. So we have my monthly overview. She notes special things like this during the month for me, so that way I can see kind of moon specific things coming up because I do practice astrology. Now, a unique setup I wanted was this one right here. So the Orb of Harmony and the Orb of Discord, you can see them tattooed right here on my wrists. Yeah, Zenyatta is a healer, and he heals through positive reinforcement, and his Orb of Discord allows his team to do like more damage by pointing out somebody's weaknesses. So I used this spread to each day list something about myself that I love and list something that is an opportunity for growth. And that's what I wanted to use this spread for. Alongside it, I have my playlist, which is a recurring thing for my monthlies, which is something that I do continue to use. Here we have once again, the work shift tracker that I did try to use for a little bit. Unfortunately, did not go as well as I would have hoped. A closed mind is already defeated is one of Zenyatta's sayings, but again, my weeklies, which I have to say, this February spread is arguably one of my favorites. I'm getting better now about using my monthly overviews. At the time, I was really focused heavily on my weekly and my daily stuff. So we move into March, and I chose Stardew Valley. I chose Stardew Valley because it was the beginning of spring, it's the beginning of new things, and Stardew Valley is one of my favorite games. It's so cute, and I love how it's always about new beginnings, and things can always get better. And I took a trip during this time to Colorado. I did move to Colorado from 2019 to 2020, and I wanted to go back and visit some of the people that I did not get to see for a while. I discovered a lot about myself during that time too. I actually got to take a train from Denver to Grand Junction, which was about a 6 to 8 hour train ride, and it was truly wonderful. But that is why quite a bit of this is not filled out. I wasn't working as much. I didn't have as much to necessarily record or talk about. Regardless, she still set this up for me before I went. This was kind of, I could have used this space, but sadly I didn't. But that's okay. You make mistakes or, things just happen and you continue to move on. Speaking of moving on, we now move into April. I did have an idea for my April spread, but the April was a tough time for Mom and I. So we kind of came up with this desert aesthetic with dapper foxes. I just really like these colors in particular, and she knows that I have a thing for foxes, and she kind of saw one of these little guys on like Pinterest or something and decided, hey, let's do something with that. I did not really use my journal in April. Again, it was a very stressful month for the both of us. Lots of work things happening for the both of us, so that's okay, things happen. But I still really love the nighttime desert aesthetic. I think the colors are wonderful, and I always love the attention to detail that my mother has too. Look at this little guy, isn't he cute? And then as from April, we move into May. I really love Egyptian mythology. I love most mythologies, if I'm honest. Egyptian is one of those that kind of stands out to me, and I chose this for May because May is the month that the Nile floods and brings all that fertile soil and, again, a kind of a new beginnings situation. That seems to be a recurring theme for me, I'm noticing, for this journal, but it is rather shiny and golden, but it's absolutely stunning. I think this one and my February so far are two of my favorites. There's probably going to be a third by the end of this. I was beginning to pick up on my bullet journaling habit once again during this time, so it's still a little barren. It's a bit more blank than I would like it to be, but again, you learn, you grow, you move on. Bast is one of my favorite Egyptian goddesses, and so she was conscious of that, putting in a couple of the cats throughout. Now from May, we move on to June. Watch your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. It is a rather shiny, sparkly month. I think she just mentioned this holographic paper, sticker paper recently, but I wanted a disco holographic skating setup because June is my birth month, and I recently, over the past year, picked up roller skating as a habit, and it is something that I use for my recharge time. I just put in my headphones and I skate like no one is watching, and it really recharges my batteries. It makes me feel so much better about, my day, my week. And if anything is going on, it just all melts away on that time that I'm on that floor. And so she found a way to make this holographic thing happen. My skates are, in fact, this kind of holographic material too, so it's really cool that she found a way to do this for me. I did take a lot of time off from work during this month so that way I could spend it with my family. My brother was up for a while, so it didn't get as much use, but I did still try to use it. This was a fun day. My brother got tickets to his favorite band for his birthday back in April, and he decided to take me along with him, and we both had such a blast. Needless to say, I didn't go skating that day. So yes, this right here was the week that I was off. Charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent is one of RuPaul's great sayings, the 4 qualities to just live your life as authentically as possible. It's also sticker paper. You have to be careful not to rub on it too much, otherwise it does kind of get a little smudgy. So that was a challenge when I was writing in this journal, this setup for sure. A lot of these stickers she also kind of made herself. So these skates were not on this pair of legs originally. There was a couple back here as well, here, and I think the awesome lady with the afro on the previous page did not have skates on as well, so she found a way to make those happen. This playlist is a bit more filled out because I took the time to kind of find some of my favorite songs from my skating playlist. It is a very heavy disco dance vibe, and so there's a couple of those on there. If you're looking for that kind of vibe, feel free to check some of these out. If you can't read my handwriting, feel free to ask her what one of these, says at all. I'll be happy to tell her and let y'all know. And then, yeah, the reflection page, just, see, I started to get better about using the reflection page. Actually, this was one of my favorite moments from this month, where I got to meet several people at the skate rink who have become people that I qualify as my skate friends. I met all 3 of these in one day, all of them very wonderful. I see Joy very often, and she does bring me great joy. Now, July, I wanted to have Subnautica as a theme, and Mom was rather put off a little bit by the idea. She just didn't want to do a whole underwater thing. There we go. As you can see, there's this blue, silvery kind of water streak through the page. She didn't want to do a whole underwater thing, which is what I wanted for April with Subnautica. She found a way to make it happen anyway, because I still wanted it to happen. And so she just found a creative way to make it happen. So that was easy on her, but could still fulfill the fantasy that I was looking for. And so July was also kind of a strange month for me personally. I didn't use the journal as much as I would have liked, but I still tried to use it enough so that way I could continue to appreciate the journal. A couple of the creatures that you see or have seen do in fact come from the game Subnautica, which takes place on an alien planet. You crash land, and it's basically a game of survival. You have to find a way to survive, you have to find fresh water, you have to feed yourself, and you have to find a way off the planet because there is a mysterious virus that has infected you and will keep you planet-bound until you can cure it. It's very, very intriguing. It's one of those games that doesn't give you a huge tutorial and just kind of sends you out on your way, and that was something that I really enjoyed about it. But yeah, you get to build like small, like pretty big submarines and things too. It's really fun. And then moving from July, we move into August. Now, I connect very heavily with the Greek god Apollo. Once again, we're hitting our mythology aspects. So when I kind of mentioned Apollo for August, you know, August is kind of at the end of that summertime, so I still wanted to get a sun theme kind of in there. She asked if there was anything else along with like Apollo and the sun. I was like, you could do arrows or something if you wanted to. I give her these generic ideas, and then these are the things that she comes up with. Is she not just incredible? And this is kind of my favorite, is because it's the cover page and the monthly spread. I love this so much. But yeah, so August has been a busy month, but a month that I've been trying to keep track of things as we go. And as far as keeping on top of things, I'd say I've done a pretty decent job about major things happening. I still am in the process of learning what I like to write down, what I need to write down. It's all a learning process, and you know, as you've seen, we've lost a couple spreads, we've gained a couple, some have stayed pretty consistent, like the playlist. It's nice to look back at my year in music, that's for sure. And yeah, I'm trying to get better about genuinely reviewing and reflecting on my month, especially as we go along and get closer towards the middle to the end of it. It's just a good thing to be present and conscious for. And then a special little sneak peek at what is coming for September. We have a D&D spread, which is not initially the idea that I had. However, it dawned on Mom to do this, and she immediately knew what she wanted to do with this. Fun fact, this is tea-stained paper that she made. When she has a vision, she's committed, let me tell you. So I haven't really gotten to quite start using this. She's only got one. She's got the monthly spread, and then she's got one weekly up and available. I like this little touch right here. Let's roll. And you know, you're expecting the good rolls, the 20s. That's what you want. The higher, the better. Well, oops, trying not to get flagged by YouTube there, but moving on, I've already started to set up what is going to be in my future for work. And this particular weekly setup is based off of a wizard. So you've got a couple of your magic items there and all. But she hasn't done anything else beyond this one because she's still not sure what other classes that I play or like to play. And then this here is a character sheet for either one of my characters that I'm currently playing in one of my Dungeons and Dragons games, multiple, or I recently decided that I was going to start pursuing the art of drag, and so she thought this would be fun to maybe start writing down some facts about who I want my drag persona to be. There we are. A yearly look through my journal. I'm sure some of you who have been here for a while have wondered, hey, what happened to that journal? Well, here we are. If you would like to know any more about any of those spreads, feel free to leave in the comments below. Let me know which one your favorite is, because it has been a collective project between the both of us, Mom and I. Obviously, I come up with the ideas and she's the creative mind, but I think she's wonderful and I love her and she is my Wonder Woman, and I don't know truly what I would do without her. I love her very much, and I think that this is such a special thing for her to do for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to hit like and subscribe and leave some comments. That definitely will help her out, I know for sure, and we will see you next time. Bye guys.